We're really trying to push you into the mindset of damage. Deal tons of damage, always be throwing out damaging spells. Never stop throwing out these damaging spells on the Sage unless you absolutely need to. Especially as the Sage's kit is pretty much known, aside from like 2 abilities at this point. You know at this point that you can rely on your off GCD abilities as much as you possibly can to mitigate damage, restore it without any problems on your GCD. Remember, with the Sage, every time that you're not casting a damage spell, you're losing Cardia procs, which is going to be a huge factor between those who continue with the Sage, or to be frank, quit after the first week when the hype fades. Meow. So I know that I started off the video strong with that, but I want to make sure that I get that key takeaway out there into the world. Do you want to try and get ready for Sage and Endwalker so that you can pretty much pick up the Sage day 1 and be pretty comfortable with it? Then this is the right video for you. So like, obviously guys, I am not stupid, I get it. The Sage is like 2 months away from us getting our hands onto it, but this is actually one of the best times for you to gear up. And I don't mean item level, I mean skill wise. You can already get comfortable with a lot of the mechanics that you are going to see exactly the same on the Sage. One thing that I have seen so much, especially being in the weird position of being like I guess a YouTuber, I don't know, I just do these videos for fun, guys, I don't take it that serious, but I get a ton of comments that I read that I'm like, oh my god, so many people are looking at trying healing for the first time. Maybe they've never even tried White Mage ever in their lives. This is new players coming from World of Warcraft, this is new players just new to MMOs in general, this is going to also be veteran players. I'm seeing a ton of this, so this is my attempt to really try and help guide people in the direction for success when the Sage comes out. Well, obviously my first tip is going to be pretty basic, but it is very important. Really mull over the information of the Sage, and we really do know everything pretty much except for 2 abilities. The kit at this point has already been revealed just because like during the live letter, like little things were hovered over for like half a second and like we went full in Nancy Drew. But the point is that the full toolkit is basically known at this point. Nothing that we get from the media tour is going to suddenly change things. And we know at this point that it is revealed to be like 85% the same as Scholars. Like, I'm not meaning like, oh, this ability is really similar. I'm meaning like identical 1-to-1 abilities. Fizzes is literally Whispering Dawn for the Scholar. Holism is literally Fey Blessing, and so on and so forth. The disclaimer that I made actually during my video yesterday is that maybe Sage really is not up your alley. Being on YouTube, I've seen so many comments really disparaging the Scholar's playstyle, and they say that the healing that it does doesn't make sense, they hate it. Why would I play a Scholar when I can play a White Mage or a Diurnal Ast? And guys, that's okay, like I take no offense to that. It's like, if I do melee DPS, I personally am going to gravitate towards the Ninja or the Samurai over the Dragoon or Monk. That's why we have these different classes, because not everything's going to click with everyone, and that's totally cool. But I digress, so getting back to the point of the video, if you want an in-depth understanding of what we're doing with the Sage, check out my Ultimate Sage Guide that is going to be uploaded. I want to do it tomorrow, but sometime in the next few days, but I'm going to also link it in the description when I do that, so if you're like seeing this right off the bat, it's not going to be there, but check in later and hopefully you'll get that. But regardless of that, if you are here right now without that out, I have a metric ton of other Sage videos deep diving into the mechanics like Cardia, Serpent Skull, healer meta, healer compositions, and much more. And if you're worried about healer compositions, because whenever I say that word, people get worried, yes, it should be more than fine in any composition. I always need to make sure that I say that. But likewise with any of this, when we get the final numbers of the abilities, I will be updating it with the media tour information. I literally just need some dude to literally hover over the tooltips for me, bam bam bam. You will see the content burst out at the speed that you have never seen before. The point is, right now today we know an alarming amount of information. Missing 2 like abilities, it's gonna be really solid what you know already. Maybe a potency changes, big whoop. And my second tip here is that all healers get a 1.5 second GCD cast time, meaning that they have a 1 second window to weave. This is extremely important for all healers, but also the Sage for sure. Maybe especially the Sage, because you need to keep that on GCD sacred. That is where your damage spells are going for, so definitely very important for the Sage. So a few quick facts here are that, first of all Sage's damaging abilities are on the GCD. Second of all, Sage restores 170 potency of health to their Cardia target per damaging spell used. And then thirdly, this means that all GCDs for the Sage are extremely valuable because they are double dipping into 330 potency of damage, I'm just going off of doses, and then they're also giving you 170 healing potency per cast. That's a lot of value. The end result is that you want to use your off GCD abilities like Fizzes 2, Holism, your Serpent Skull abilities, and the such like anything that's off the GCD really, to the highest effect possible. You want to be using your on GCD heals like Diagnosis or Prognosis as rarely as possible. Consider them like disgusting, like, I needed to hit that. But obviously, like, guys, I need to emphasize this. When the situation arises that you do need to spam Prognosis, don't wipe the group. Don't be too proud. But to get back to the point of this section, this 1.5 second GCD cast time means every damaging spell you can weave in one off GCD heal to offset the need to heal on the GCD. And since this is so vital to the Sage especially, fortunately for us, we can already practice this extensively in the game. The Astrologian is one of my #1 recommendations for anyone looking at the Sage to actively be playing right now. We're still like 50 days off or 2 months away, and just get used to the cadence of the abilities. So things that I'd be experimenting would be, first of all, slide casting with 1.5 seconds GCD. Slide casting is when you just wait till like the end of the cast bar and you can actually move without stopping your cast. That takes some practice to get used to. The second one is getting used to inching your movement between that off GCD window. The Astro today in game is actually pretty hilariously mobile, especially compared to the other healers. It doesn't really give up much mobility. Aside, how to say it, that mobility is enough other than the most difficult mechanics. Like, you don't need to that often pop light speed because you're like, oh, I need to do mobility. Like, usually you can stutter step it between these off GCD windows. This will pay off in spades if you take the time to learn this now. Then obviously get used to weaving in one single off GCD ability between each Malefic cast. Avoid double weaving, that'll clip the GCD. So really the goal here is we're trying to push you into that mindset. Deal tons of damage, always be throwing out these spells, never stop volleying them out. You get the drill. So my third big tip is that the Sage's toolkit, to no surprise to anyone who's listened from the start of this video and didn't just skip here, is that it is very alarmingly similar to the Scholars. It is like 85% RD. You can think about as the same thing as the Fairy, resolving chip damage. Soteria is like Fey Union. Diagnosis and Eucrasia Diagnosis, Physic and Adlo equivalents. Eucrasia Prognosis is a Sucker equivalent. Holism is Fey Blessing. Physis is Whispering Dawn. Art of War is literally Dyscrasia. Not to mention the Serpent's Gall system is literally a 1-to-1 of Aetherflow system for the Scholar. Dorakori Chole is literally Lustrate. Karakori Chole is literally Sacred Soil. Ikitsukori Chole is literally Indom. Tarakole is not exactly like Excog, but it can be thought about as being basically the same. Pepsis is literally Emergency Tactics. Need I go on? You guys definitely get it. That's not even getting into the fact that they both are going to be barrier healers, and Scholar isn't, from what the devs literally said, they're just like, we're not really sure what we could really change about the Scholars, and that was what they like said during the live letter, paraphrase of course, but that's what they basically said. So like, get used to the Scholar, get used to being like a barrier healer and how it really approaches content through mitigation and barriers to really take off the edge from damage. So yeah, literally play Scholar. Figure out how that toolkit works, get used to it, see if you even like that, because the Sage is basically going to be similar. It's going to be things, I mean, people like to correct me on this, and I agree with you. There are going to be huge quality of life changes. There's one reason why I'm definitely going to be maining the Sage, and it's definitely because some of those quality of life things, like ghosting fairy actions, no control over the fairy heal, which is completely resolved by the Cardia system and such. Guys, I get it. It's not exactly the same, but for the incredible majority of it, it's gonna be the same. Which gets me into like the outro and last recommendation of this video is just practice and be calm with yourself. Like, if this is your first time healing, don't expect the Earth, Stars, and Moon, unless you're the Ast. I am definitely getting a dislike for that. Really be like, chill with yourself. Take the Scholar and Astro into extreme trials, set yourself on it, and just see what you can do, and be calm with yourself. Like, don't expect yourself to be like a pro level healer. That's why I'm saying this is the perfect time for people to really start to get their feet into the water. Maybe consider taking them into basic raids, maybe Delirium or Gane normals, maybe even look into trying Savage raids. The key takeaway is when preparing for the Sage, the key things are familiarity with the 1.5 second cast time, its mobility, its enabling of off GCD cast, slide casting, as well as the entire Scholar's kit and approach to healing. Hitting those two will make you gracefully move into the Sage.